What's up, traders? This is Matt with Conservative Trades. Happy Friday to everyone. It's a blah blah so Friday for me. As you can see, ending the day up only $14.90. Now there's a big story to tell here, guys. And for those of you who are in the live stream, you already know. But to those of you who are new to the channel or didn't get a chance to sit in the live stream today, I pretty much I made a really good example to or we'll say a very good example was made of me today with my trade on TWLO. And it's a very good example to take from if you want to know what not to do in the stock market. Because essentially what had happened this morning is, you can see here in pre-market, I took a couple trades on Apple, or well, a trade on Apple, we'll say. And then, no, it was a couple trades. Took a couple trades on Apple and took a couple stabs on BLIN. With Apple, it obviously just wasn't a good trade. It looked as though that, the market was continuing to make a downwards move this morning. And as a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and pull up the SPY here. We had this trend line. I'll remove some of these moving averages, but I had drawn this trend line, and it seemed as though it was coming up to the trend line, but that it was bouncing off of it this morning. Now, as you can see, SPY's just gotten bought up today. But before this this buy occurred, Apple looked like it was going to tank. And so I went short on it a couple times. It didn't work out. I bought myself out of the position. No big deal. I think I was only down, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 bucks or something like that in pre-market on Apple. So it was fine. And maybe it wasn't even that much. But BLIN was the other ticker that I tried trading, and I actually got in at a couple places that were really good, and I was building a position, but it just faked me out. Sold my position, got back in, faked me out, sold my position again, and you can see ended up down $32. Not too bad for taking a couple stabs on it and trying to take 400 shares, but it faked me out a couple times, guys. If you were watching BLIN today, and I'll just pull it up, it actually did end up going all the way up to test the $3 area, right up there, 295. And so it faked me out a couple times. It just faked me out, and literally, and if I pull up my executions to show you here, let's see, show executions. You can see here, pull this chart out a little bit. You can see here that this last time, because I had an average in, and I said, you know what, I'll get out here if it breaks 28, and it broke 28, and I got out. But then look, that's when it skyrocketed. And, those are the moves that just really kind of make you think to yourself, like, what the heck? Those are the moves that make you feel like somebody's watching you, and they're waiting for you to push the button, and then they're going to do the opposite, right? So, but all it is, guys, is, just a little whippy price action in pre-market. That's all it is. And you know what? It got me out. Okay, so got me out. That's okay. But that would have been a nice move. That would have been a nice $100 win, roughly, on those 400 shares. I would have scaled out gradually. And like I said, we would have locked in maybe a good $80 to $100 on that move. So I was a little messed up from that. And I was a little messed up from my two trades gone bad on Apple. So I come into the market today, and I had a very specific plan on JD. And let's see, was it JD? Yeah, it was JD. You can see here, I was thinking that it could double bottom here, and if it did, I was going to buy my way in. And so I bought my way in right here. I got in at 49, roughly 49.50. We can look at the order book here. Where was it? JD 49.51, bought 100 shares, and then it came up to 50, and I averaged in so that I could have a 200 share average at roughly 49.70 something. So anyway, it came back, it pulled back, and I stopped myself out at break even. And then look, it shot all the way up here. If we reduce this to a 1 minute chart, probably be a little bit easier to see. But you can see here, this wick is where I stopped myself out. And then look, next couple minutes, it shot all the way up here, guys. This would have been an easy 200 and maybe 200 and some dollar winner. So here I was down on my pre-market trades with Apple, and it was a legit move. On Apple, it was legit. That was a legit loss. But I was also down on BLIN on what should have been like an $80 to $100 move. And then, JD, I was basically out $1.50. Basically break even on JD, which also should have been, $100, $200 move. my day, that would have been my day. And so what happened is I got eager. I got eager and I became a little undisciplined. I had a moment and I noticed that TWLO was making a very huge, strong move to the downside. And knowing that TWLO, now here's the thing. If this was traded with a lot of shares, if this was a lot of shares being traded here and a lot of volume was pouring into the market, this would have been a good place to go in. But guys, this was very low volume. Look at this, 24,000 shares. That's nothing. That's nothing on a $180 stock. Okay, so we had very light volume. I knew better. I knew better, but it was kind of wishful thinking. I was looking at these previous areas right here, looking for a good solid breakdown. Okay, and I thought that, you know, of course, looking at the daily chart, you can see we've been forming this rollover pattern, and I'm thinking, well, you know, SPY's week. Why not? Why couldn't this be the day where it just plummets down here? But guys, it just wasn't smart. It wasn't smart. And I'm admitting it. I'm admitting it. Now I know people probably come on the channel and be like, well, why'd you do it if it wasn't smart? Well, I'm just explaining to you the thing that you shouldn't do. I'm telling you, I'm not telling you that, you know, I made a good call here. I'm actually admitting that I made a bad call. Okay. And I got in on something that was traded with very light share size, and look what it ended up doing on the 5-minute candle. Came all the way up here, all the way up here. But then I averaged in again. Averaged in again, it came down, took a little profit there, moved against me, came down, took a little profit there, and then took profit here, and then when it failed to make a new low as it came up, I took my last profit there. And so I'm proud of how I managed it, because at one point I was down like, I don't know, 260, 280, something like that on TWLO, and I brought it down to only a $100 loss. So I'm not mad about that. I feel like I managed the trade well, and I was playing it off of this trend line here. This is a trend line I have had drawn on TWLO. If you've been following the channel the last several days, you know I drew this trend line, and I just knew that there was a great potential that this was a fake trend line breakout. Again, it was light. The volume was light. Okay, and I knew that this move here was a great possibility. So manage my risk on that, guys. But this move, what I normally, the way I normally would have handled this move, because I'm okay with trading on light volume, but you have to know how to read those stocks, and they read a little differently. And what I really should have done is, instead of getting in down here, instead of FOMOing in, instead of, you know, again, I was shaken up, I was mad, you know, my BLIN trade faked me out, JD faked me out. Both of those collectively would have had me up anywhere from $250 to maybe even $350 on the day. And I could have stopped. I could have stopped right then and there. So this is something that I just want to call to your attention, because I think, you know, guys, when you're trading, this is the reality of it. These are emotions that we all have as traders. This is the psychology of it. This is the mentality that we are often faced with. Okay, and I got caught in it today, and it almost cost me big. Okay, it almost cost me big, but I didn't panic. You know, I knew what the technicals were, and I played it out the best way I knew how. And it ended up, you know, I ended up saving myself, you know, bringing that down, you know, $160. I ended up saving myself $160 worth of losses. Okay, so it's not a bad deal at all. But had I played this, back to what I was saying, had I normally played this well and with a sober and sound mind, I would have started averaging in here at previous day close. And then I probably would have averaged in again here at a breakout over this trend line, this long-term trend line that I had drawn on the daily. And then I probably would have caught this move, you know, started piecing out at VWAP and then the rest of the way down. And this actually would have been a winning trade. That's how I should have done it. Okay. And so anyway, I'm owning it though. I have no problems doing that. Apple did eventually afford a pretty solid move. Now I took one last trade on it today and it just squeezed me out. I don't even know what's happening. The SPY is just now all of a sudden getting confident. So I know that there was the president made an address today, or there was a presidential address, there was a speech, whatever, and so I don't know, maybe that has something to do with it. But all I know is, you know, I took one last stab on it and right here and got squeezed out. So just small share size, no big deal. But because I was up like $40 on the day, and I got caught in another trade. But this is a move that I did make on Apple, and I I got out here, and then I got out here and got out the rest here, and that was a really good move, and that put me up pretty significantly on Apple. At least an additional, like I was up maybe 40 some dollars on Apple, we'll say 40, maybe $50. So Apple was okay. It was a decent move, and then I lost probably another $20 on that move, so that put me back down. But BYND was another one that I was very proud of, and this is how I should have captured TWLO, because BYND does this junk too. It really does. On light volume, it makes these weird irrational moves to the upside, and then it gets a sell off. And you can see I got in here, was very patient with it, took first profit here, added back in here when I saw that it was rolling over under the EMA, and took profit here, and then got out here before break even. So nice solid move on BYND. And so guys, and then SRNE was actually called out by somebody in the chat. It's making a big move on, they're claiming that they have a cure for coronavirus or COVID, whatever, and so this was making a huge move up, and I took a couple stabs on this and made $19. I mean, no big deal. But guys, I'm ending the day down probably $30-$40 after fees and commissions. So it is what it is. This has been a good week. I'm ending the week in the green, and so I'm very satisfied with how this week played out. And we're going to come back here next week, and we're just going to tackle this again. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to trade the same strategy. Hopefully I'll be a little bit smarter. Hopefully I won't let my emotions get the best of me like I did today. But looking forward to it, guys, and I hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll see you Monday. Take care.